Okay, really pleased today by the performance, and that's not always the case in these games where they go your way early, or maybe you are pleased about one side of the ball, not the other. I thought that these guys, our players, really came out with a great intensity. We really challenged them not to have anything to do with the opponent, have to do with them. Their first game of this team that they've worked so hard for. They've come together from all these different places. A number of them didn't go to the NFL. So I was like, all right, this is your first message you get to send about the team. No matter who you play next week or week 5, any of that stuff. This is all that matters is this game. And you can say that doesn't mean it's going to work. And it was good that they responded that way. They played like it was an elite SEC game with the energy that they played with, the way they went after the ball, style. So really pleased with that. I thought fans were really good. Student section, was a good first half, and that was good to see and good to feel. Good to be back out there with everybody. So someday maybe we'll get everybody to stay for the second halves, but we'll work on that later. So also in the playing clean, you run 82 plays with no turnovers and a combined 3 penalties in all 3 phases of the game. That's enjoyable for a coach for that to happen, because it means a lot of players are doing a lot of things right and playing with great discipline. And they did that today. And that's a lot of players doing that because, highly unusual. I don't think ever here we've gone out in the second half where we basically don't play the starters even in the second half. We usually let them take the first series. So a lot of them were out already. And so a lot of times that when games can get kind of, not clean when there's new people in there at different spots. And anytime, you have 7 first downs, I think 2 on the last series of the game there. And no points, you're winning a lot of games. So that was really good to see. There was a lot of talk put in about this defense, a lot of energy put into this defense, resources put into this defense. So to see them show up like that was huge.
Laying to your initial point of don't worry about the opponent, worry about yourselves, just that first half, your initial assessment of what the offense showed out there.
Yeah, I guess 52, missed the field goal there at the end. That's about as good as you can do. The one series, we don't punt, but the one series we kick a field goal instead of a touchdown. So when we look at it, the 3 points at the end, that's basically what you're going to get in a 1-minute drive. So outside of that, you only left 4 points out there with a lot of series. So that's a really good half. And I don't care who you're playing, that's hard to do. You see scores around the country that don't look like this. Our mock game didn't look like this. So this guy's performing really well and taking the challenge to not look ahead on a schedule.
We've talked a lot about that defensive front. Did that group live up to what you thought and what you've seen in practice?
Yeah, it did. It was exciting. It was a feeling we've never had here. I haven't had it as a head coach, just where you just look at the 4 guys that are going out there, and then they got about 3 guys that rotate in with them, and it's elite. It's elite size, length players that present major problems if they're doing the right thing and playing hard. And it's very intimidating to play against. So they all came out and showed up. And you just have a different depth than you ever had. You got these other linemen rotating on offense that are been starting, basically I think you have 9 linemen that have been normal starters at places, offensive line. Then you have this abundance of defensive line, and then even look at the linebackers. Chris Paul didn't start but went in and played great.
Lane, having a large chunk of the second half, watching Austin Simmons in his Ole Miss debut, just your initial impressions of him in game action.
Yeah, he started well with the touchdown throw. It was a really pretty throw. He misses one late that the receiver, he thought he was going to go to the post, so he threw it behind. It was a big third down that would have kept the drive alive. But I thought he did some things good, and he was a little off on some others.
A lot of work for Micah Davis in the punt game tonight. What did you think about him on offense and on special teams?
Yeah, I thought he did a really good job. Handled some punt situations where we're just fair catching them and saved us some yards, instead of letting them roll. So I think he's again, another really big addition and one of the last ones.
Lane, what made you go with Austin for those QB2 reps there?
Yeah, I think it was very close. Both guys had a really good camp, did really well. It was a hard decision. Just felt Austin had just played a little better right at the end, the last couple of competitive situations. But it was a very hard decision. We're very confident, as you saw, with both guys going in there and running our offense.
And then didn't see Jordan Watkins dressed. What's his status?
He was not eligible to. It's not ineligible. He was not available to play injury-wise.
Coach, I was just curious about you throwing J.J. Pegues back there, give him a little tote on the 2-yard line or so, let him get in the end zone. Obviously, I think he had him tackle for loss in the previous drive. What was the thought behind giving him the ball back there?
Yeah, we really weren't going to probably go to that yet because it was like a 4th and a long 2. And so we'd already changed to go to a different pass and stuff. And then I just kind of wanted to send a message, about this group. So I looked at the linemen and I said, all right, we got all you big guys, they got these shirts that say size matters. They think so cool to wear around now. So let's see it. And so we put JJ at running back and let all those big linemen block them. And I don't know, I think he made 7 yards on it. So and then Coach Weiss got excited and he just said, run it again. So he ran the same play again.
People have spent so much time talking about how good this team can be. How good did it feel to, go out there and actually show it?
It felt great. It really did, because I thought we would play really well, but you never know. And I just really like them. I just really like how selfless they are in some different situations. And, these are one of those games you can have these guys moping because they're not getting the stats they want. And it's just it's early. It's week 1, but it's just a really neat group of guys. They're very focused on a common thing.
Coach, there's a lot of talk in the offseason about all the transfer additions. A lot of them had big plays in this game. How do you think they performed in their first game action?
Great. I don't have the list of them, but they're all over the place, from Juice's touchdown, obviously the defensive linemen, Walter and Princely, so Daquan, the other tight end. There was a lot. A couple running backs that were added. So a ton of guys got in there and did a lot. Some of the safeties and in the corner. Go back down one. Really both corners.
Lane, Jackson had a record-breaking first half. Do you feel like you saw a different Jackson tonight than even when he was kind of hitting his peak at certain points last year?
Yeah, I think he had a better pocket, so that made him a little different. I think that the line, we missed a blitz one time, but I think they had a really good, you can see the length showing up in some of the pockets that he's sitting in, and that hasn't always been the case, so I think that helped him a lot, and he felt comfortable back there.
Any more questions? Coach. All right, thanks, Coach. We'll have players in next.
All right, guys.